anybody else but me remembers Zatch Bell, Zatch Bell was a staple of my childhood. I love Zatch Bell so much that when I had a 3D printer, I actually 3D printed this and painted it very terribly, as you can tell, but I wanted to make a full-on book, but I couldn't do it. But for those of you who remember Zatch Bell, remember how magical it was, because it literally was magical. And did you guys know there were video games based off of it? I know we already covered one on the channel back in Season 1 on the Game Boy Advance. That was my first time ever playing that game. I hated it. And now we're going to check out Zatch Bell Mamodo Battles on the Gamecube, one of my childhood favorites. And I'm excited. I have loved Zatch Bell since I first saw it as a kid. In fact, I don't even remember how I got into Zatch Bell. Okay, quick update on that one. I might have figured it out, but I can't confirm or deny. I very distinctly remember reading it in the US version of Shonen Jump. I don't know. If anybody could find that out, please let me know, because I remember reading the first, 5 chapters maybe in Shonen Jump. Anyway, back to the video. That's the crazy part. I don't remember. But here we are. Let's check out Zatch Bell Mamodo Battles on the Nintendo Gamecube. For those unfamiliar, Zatch Bell was a hit anime and manga series about young spellcasting Mamodo battling to become king of the Mamodo world. The premise is pretty simple. Every 1,000 years, 100 Mamodo are sent to Earth to find a human partner, each wielding a spellbook that only the partner can read. The last Mamodo standing wins the right to become the king.
Once every 1,000 years, a battle takes place here in the human world to determine who will be the Mamodo king. 100 Mamodo children are chosen to be sent to our world.
Mamodo Battles thankfully follows the core story of the anime, but it's a very, very, very streamlined version. I mean, there is so much missing in this. I mean, the game does cover some key story beats, but trims a lot of the character development. And while it serves as a fun way to experience the world of Zatch Bell, don't expect the deep, immersive storytelling. It's more about the action than the narrative. And that's really one of the things I don't like about this game.
She's good and nice, and she's the strongest one of us all. To sacrifice everything, I don't know if I could do it. Zatch!
The cutscenes used in-game models and static dialogue boxes rather than the full animations, which might feel a little underwhelming for fans of the show. The game also skips over some of the more emotional moments from the anime, making the story feel somewhat rushed. But for those familiar with the series, it does provide enough context to get into the battles without needing a full backstory. But again, we're missing some of the key moments. Like when Zatch decides, hey, I want to become a kind king in his battle with Kalulu.
If the king of our world was a benevolent king, maybe we wouldn't have to come here and fight in the first place.
Yeah, maybe you're right. You are right. That's just what the Mamodo king should be. Good and kind, why not? You're exactly right, Kalulu. And I swear, if I win this battle, when I win this battle, that's just the kind of king I'll be.
I know you will, Zatch.
It's just tough. I don't like it. Interestingly, some minor characters from the series don't make the cut as playable characters or even as part of the story, which may disappoint some hardcore fans, but the game does a respectable job featuring major players like Zatch, Kyo, Brago, Sherry, Conchime, Palco Forgore, Tia, and Megumi, so at least the big main characters are here.
These guys have obviously been training, so listen carefully. I need you to do 2 things for me in this battle.
Now the gameplay is the heart of the story. The gameplay is a mix of arena-style fighting and magic-based combat. You select a Mamodo and their human partner using their spellbooks to cast up powerful attacks. Battles take place in 3D arenas where positioning and timing are crucial. Every character has a set of spells that range from basic energy blasts to massive screen-filling special moves. Each Mamodo has a unique moveset based on their abilities from the anime, meaning fans will recognize their favorite character's signature attacks. However, despite a decent battle system, the battles often come down to spamming long-range attacks rather than deep strategy. The controls are simple but can feel a bit stiff, especially when trying to dodge or counter incoming spells. Some attacks just have a frustratingly long wind-up times, leaving you vulnerable, while others feel overpowered, making certain characters much easier to use than others. Bravo! Another gameplay element to mention is of course the tension gauge. Below your HP, you see the tension gauge, and as you battle, this gauge fills up, eventually allowing you to unleash your devastating super move. Now these cinematic attacks can quickly turn the tide of battle, but require careful timing to use effectively.
Spell will work this time! Here we go, Zatch! Bowser!
While the characters themselves do look solid, the animations are stiff and some attacks lack impact. Sound-wise, the voice acting is a highlight. With the English dubcast reprising their roles, it's a nice touch that makes the game feel authentic to the anime.
Golgore, there's a cake shop over here! Bravo!
Wait a minute. Is that who I think it is? Yeah, that's exactly what I thought it was. However, the soundtrack is generic and forgettable, and be prepared to hear the same attack callouts over and 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 over again. It gets old pretty fast, and I'm sure that little bit just did too, so I apologize for that.
Meanie, Golgore and I are best friends. He would never leave me all alone. Well, he does disappear a lot, but he always comes back.
Also, some of the attack sound effects lack punch, making even the more powerful moves feel weaker than they should. A stronger emphasis on impactful sound design definitely could have added to the excitement a little bit. But interestingly, the game does include character-specific win quotes and taunts, which help flesh out their personalities a little bit more. Small touches like this do a lot to make the game feel more connected to the show. Now, the three main modes of this game is story mode, time trial mode, and technically multiplayer. Now, story mode is where you'll spend most of your solo time. It follows key battles from the anime, but the cutscenes are minimal. Each character has their own path, and there's only about 6 of them. So there's some replay value, but the storytelling is pretty bare bones. The battles themselves can be enjoyable, but the lack of variety and objectives makes the mode feel repetitive over time.
And behind me.
Wow! Is this some kind of game?
Then of course there's the time attack mode, which is your standard time attack mode. Fight through all the battles and see how fast you can get through them. Now, time attack mode is really only important for one thing, and that's unlocking the secret character Ponygon, otherwise known as Schneider. If you beat the time trial mode under 8 minutes and fight Schneider, congratulations. You now have a Mamodo that can't do any spells. Ugh.
Hey! Aren't you?
Now, of course, multiplayer is where the game shines. Playing against friends brings out the fun, as dodging spells and landing big attacks feels much more engaging against a real opponent. However, with no real unlockables or ranked play, as we have in today's day and age, the longevity is limited. But the mode is best enjoyed in short bursts, rather than a long-term competitive experience. And since I don't have any friends who wanted to play this with me, I played the 1-player mode, not the 2-player mode. Yay me!
So you can understand why I'll never let Zatch down. That's why I'll never give you this book!
Now, of course, there are also some hidden characters and alternate versions of existing ones, but the game doesn't provide much incentive to unlock them outside of curiosity. Of course, a more robust reward system could have added more replayability. Now, we did get the card shop mode, which is one of the ways you do unlock some extra characters. Are they worth it? Not really, but I did it anyway for the sake of this video. And can we just talk about how there's 2 versions of Layla and 2 versions of Zophis? They could have easily taken one of each of those slots and added a different Mamodo from the story, but no, we get 2 of the same character. That just looks a little bit different. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Isn't it great? I have powers. So now I can finally avenge myself for all the cruelty I suffered.
What are you talking about?
Zatch Bell Mamodo Battles is, as you can tell, not that great of a game. I used to play it a lot as a kid, and I absolutely loved it as a kid, but it's not the same game that it was when I was a kid. And that goes to show what this show is all about. For me, the nostalgia glasses were definitely on. I was really excited to play this game again. But looking back, it was just nostalgia. And it's not a bad game, but the mechanics, the lack thereof a story, it's a good game, but also not a good game, if that makes sense. Now, the game did get a sequel on the GameCube called Zatch Bell Mamodo's Fury, or Mamodo Fury or something. You know, maybe I should check that out. Never mind. Anyway, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe and ring that bell. I hate saying that, but kind of helps. And comment down below, do you guys have any memories with this game? Did you enjoy this game growing up just like I did? Do you think it still holds up today? I mean, they could have definitely added different characters rather than having 2 Zophises and 2 Laylas. But what can you do? I mean, it was the 2000s, early 2000s, mid 2000s even. So with that, guys, that wraps up this episode. And did you guys hear that? Ooh, banana. Yeah. Man, this is really weird. This is like a golden banana or something.
Okay.
Hi.